Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 update video. Today we got the patch notes for the Winterfest season and update. Now just to let you guys know that the update was actually released yesterday in the App Store and I believe on Android as well. So you can go ahead and download the update. None of the events or anything has launched with the update just yet, but the cars are in the garage if you want to get a closer look at them, and you will find a secret car that we're going to be discussing a bit later. But also a lot of the things in this update were discussed in a developer chat a while ago, so some of this might not be new for some of you guys, but yeah, let's get right into the new cars. Alright, so the first new car we have is the Chrysler ME-412. Now this is actually a car returning from Asphalt 8, probably one of the most iconic cars from that game if we're being honest. And yeah, it looks like a pretty mediocre S-Class. They're doing it dirty, unfortunately. Not that bad of a car to be honest, but nothing really stands out. All of its stats are pretty mediocre, especially for Class S, and here you can see the decal as well. Next up, we have the premier car for this update, and it's on the complete opposite side for S-Class. It is the Bugatti Bolide. Some people said this car was leaked previously. I think I saw it as well, but either way, it's finally here. I believe this was added to Asphalt 8 recently, if I'm not mistaken, but either way, this is the new S-Class big boy. Not sure if the rank is higher than the Venom F5 because I can't see them both in the garage at the same time. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. This car looks amazing with a top speed of 489 kilometers an hour at base and an acceleration of 80. It looks pretty darn deadly. The top speed is around the Yesco's top speed, if I'm not mistaken, at like higher star counts. The acceleration looks pretty good. It's not as good as the fully electric cars, but it's pretty darn good for S-Class. The handling is going to be hard to determine simply because stats don't really reflect handling in S-Class, but it's S-Class and it's a Bugatti Bolide, which is a track-focused Bugatti, so more than likely the handling is going to be just fine, but the nitro is basically non-existent at a starting point of 12.34. But I'm also going to show you this pretty sick decal. It is apparently an animated decal. Now, I don't know if I have video of this, but I do have a photo of it, and it looks pretty sick. And if you can barely see right there, it says Drive Syndicate on the side, which means more than likely this is going to be the big boy Drive Syndicate car, just like the Gemera was for the previous Drive Syndicate. Next up, going all the way down to C-Class, is the Aries S1. Now, I actually never heard of this car before this update, and this is pretty high up there in C-Class. I was about to say S-Class, because it does look like an S-Class car. I mean, look at it. It looks pretty sick. But anyway, it's in C-Class. It's pretty far up there. Not a king, but if you do look at the acceleration for short tracks and multiplayer, this thing is going to be a beast. The acceleration stat for the maximum, if you can see the bar there, it has a lot of potential to go very high. The handling and nitro as well look pretty darn decent. Only thing where this thing is really lacking is of course the top speed, just to really balance it out, I assume. But yeah, this is going to be an acceleration beast. The decal for it looks pretty cool, and overall it looks like a neat car. Next up, another car that looks way too crazy for its rank. We have the Peugeot 9X8, pretty much in the middle of A-Class. Now, it's right next to the Vanda, which is kind of ironic because it looks pretty similar in terms of stats, if I'm not mistaken. The acceleration is really good on this car. Top speed, not so much, but it's not, you know, terrible or anything like that. Handling looks amazing, and the nitro looks like it could be improved as well. This looks like a sick car. I believe I saw this a while ago on like Top Gear or something like that, but this does look like it will be a very good multiplayer Class A car. Next up, we got another car that looks so nutty for its rank. We have the Praga R1 all the way down in D class, and again, a car that looks like the acceleration is going to be literally off the charts for where it's at. You can see it starts at 74, which is already pretty darn good for Class D. Everything else looks pretty mediocre except for the nitro that looks like it can about double once you have it at max, but looks like another just mediocre D class car. Hopefully we'll see what happens with the acceleration. Maybe it'll be meta for a couple of those shorter tracks, but honestly not quite sure at the moment. Next up, we have our second Clash Store exclusive vehicle, the McLaren 650S GT3, and just like the other Clash exclusive car, which was the Agera R, this looks pretty darn good for its class. It's right next to the Lamborghini SC18 and the Huayra BC, so not a king of A class, but pretty darn good if I do say so. The handling of this car looks like it could go very, very high, as well as the nitro looks pretty darn good once you upgrade that, and the acceleration doesn't look that bad either. This is definitely going to be a pretty decent multiplayer car. Not sure about events because the top speed is not really that great, but another solid addition to A class nonetheless. Next up, we have the Legend Pass exclusive car, which is the Porsche Boxster 25th. I believe this is like the 25th anniversary for the Boxster from Porsche, which is pretty darn cool. Now, this is a C-Class car, and unfortunately, it's really, really bad. It's right next to the BMW 3.0 CSL and the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. So yeah, if you plan on buying the Legend Pass for this season, I am so sorry. Maybe this can be useful in something, most likely any sort of event. This will be a car that you will need. Otherwise, I don't think this car is going to be very useful anywhere outside of those specific events. Now let's take a look at the secret car from this update, and that is the Faraday FF01. Now, I'm actually re-recording this because I noticed something about this car. Now, in the game, there are two versions. One of them has a slightly higher rank than the other, and one of them has a very interesting decal. Now, I initially made it, my commentary like, oh, we don't know what this is exactly. Maybe it's something for another event, maybe esports or something like that. But if you look at the side of the decal, it says road test. Now, in the previous developer chat, we got a hint about a upcoming special event type called road test, where you will road test, surprise, this car and upgrade it so you can unlock the normal version of the FF01. So the two versions aren't two separate complete cars. So as far as I know, you won't be able to have both of these different versions of the FF01, but you will upgrade the decal version of this car during its event, and then once you complete that event, you get to unlock the normal FF01. At least that's how I understand it. Now, if we look at the car itself, it's a pretty decent S-Class car right underneath the Koenigsegg Regera, and like all of the other electric cars, this has some really good acceleration, so it will probably be very good for multiplayer. Alright, so moving on to the other things in this update. Firstly, we have a quality of life improvement courtesy of the Asphalt board survey, and now finally, once you claim one of your daily goals, it'll automatically claim all of the rest, so you don't have to go in and tap it annoyingly. Some people actually feel like it's satisfying to go through, but I just kind of feel like it's a bit annoying, so this is a nice change to see. Also, as discussed in the previous developer chat, we are getting animated decals. Here you can see a GIF, not a GIF, a GIF of the Renault Tresor's animated decal, which looks absolutely amazing. Now, it does say that we will get one for the Ultima RS, the Lotus Evija, the Renault Tresor, and the Bugatti Bolide, which was that previous Drive Syndicate decal that you saw. However, if I remember correctly, either it was in that developer chat or somewhere else on the social media site for Asphalt, we saw a animated decal for the SSC Tuatara, so maybe that'll come later on, or maybe it's a secret thing. I can't currently see it in the game, so maybe it was just scrapped for this update, not quite sure, but animated decals are finally here and I'm so excited. So let's talk about all of the events in this update. Obviously, we are having a Drive Syndicate 6, which will most likely feature the Bugatti Bolide. In this Drive Syndicate, it seems like you will be rebuilding the Drive Syndicate, and yeah, that seems like it's going to be an interesting story. We'll have to wait and see what new characters show up. We got a couple of new icons there from the artwork, which look actually amazing, and I'm super excited to start this next Drive Syndicate. But there are also a ton of normal events that we'll get with all of the other vehicles in this update. Firstly, we will have a Grand Prix for the Aries S1, and then we will have two special events. So they did say that alongside the Drive Syndicate, we will have a normal special event, and that is going to be most most likely the Ultima RS that's coming back for a generic special event, which is nice, but we will also have a special event for the Chrysler ME-412. Unfortunately, that is going to be a Legend Pass exclusive event. The Arish AF10, which was a previous Legend Pass car, is getting a Legend Pass car hunt, and the Bentley Continental GT3 is going to have a key hunt during that update. So what this means is it's like any other normal car hunt. However, once you get the car to a certain star count, more than likely the maximum amount of stars, you will be able to race in the car hunt and actually get its key for free. The Peugeot Onyx and the Huracan Evo are also coming back with their Starway events, and then most likely way later on, probably next update, we're going to get another Starway for the McLaren Speedtail. Now, they did feature the Renault Trezor as a vehicle getting a animated decal, but it is coming back for all players, which is nice because previously it was a Legend Pass exclusive car. It is coming back in the form of a car hunt, which is awesome because I think it's a really sick looking car. Now, for the holiday season, it says there will be a 12-day celebration event, and there will be a new time limited event each day, and through those events you will be able to unlock the Lotus Emira, and there will be some other holiday themed events during the update. Besides that, there have been a couple of changes and additions that I want to mention. Firstly, the wildcard caps have been increased. So previously there was only a limited amount of wildcards that you could have. Some of them were like only 4, some of them were 6, maybe 10, I believe. Those caps have been increased across the board, which is awesome because, you know, it's difficult to make those decisions on how you want to make or how you want to use wildcards as efficiently as possible. Now you don't have to worry about that as much as before, but the system is still in place. It's just you can hold more wildcards at one time. Now, they also say that during this update, there will be 2 new features tested and will not be visible for all players, similar to the Legend Bank or something like that. But now they're calling something the Legend Fund and a time-limited event bonus pass. So maybe we're getting a third pass. We already have the Legend Pass itself and the multiplayer pass. The time limited event pass seems like it'll be something similar to that, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe it'll just boost a bunch of rewards in those daily events. And the Legend Fund, I'm no idea what that actually means. It could be renaming that bank thing, but honestly, I have no idea. So besides that, we do have some changes to the Clash that are pretty controversial. As I discussed in the developer chat, they are going to reduce the number of nodes on each map, and the conditions have also been updated. I don't know the extent of the exact details of this change, but some people are happy about this, some people are not. And finally, as part of the whole winter theme, there will only be a couple of tracks for multiplayer, and that should be Greenland and Himalayas. Now, they don't specifically mention that as the tracks in the patch notes themselves, but that was confirmed in a previous developer chat. Well, besides that and a couple of bug fixes, that is about it for the Winterfest update. Now, I'm pretty darn excited. A lot of these cars are pretty cool. I'm excited to see some of those into the game, especially the Chrysler ME-412. Kind of sad that it's a Legend Pass car at the moment, but nonetheless, the Bolide looks really cool. The next Drive Syndicate seems like it'll be super fun and exciting, and more importantly, I'm just super excited to finally see some animated decals into the game. But of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys later.